Wildcats would love to play their first games of the tournament in the Wachovia Center, led by Dante Cunningham.
Just an incredible worker, a playmaking forward that can post you up or face you up. He's a difficult matchup for Notre Dame, Bill.
Luke Harangody, the run and hook, the double-doubles, I think they'll need that from him tonight if they're to prevail, Sean.
Harangody, the only player in the country in the top 10 in scoring and rebounding nationally. Villanova 23-6, 11-5 in league play, with Scotty Reynolds and Reggie Redding, a veteran backcourt, and up front Shane Clark with Cunningham and Dwayne Anderson. Notre Dame now 16-12, winners of 4 of their last 6. With a 3-guard look, Torrey Jackson running the point with a great 3-point shooter, Kyle McElharney and Ryan Ayers. Tyrone Nash moves into the starting lineup tonight. Zach Hillsland is doubtful with a severely bruised sternum, and it'll be Nash in the front court with Luke Harangody. Irish with 2 games left, as Jay mentioned, both at home against Villanova. Great chance to get a marquee win for Notre Dame's resume tonight. Then St. John's here on Friday. Been a busy day in the Joyce Center. The Notre Dame women hosted and defeated West Virginia in a game that started at 3:30 and ended only about an hour and a half ago. A major traffic jam as the women's fans left. The men's fans came into the parking lots around the Joyce Center, and a lot of the folks are still making their way in. John Cal, J.D. Collins, and John Higgins, we are happy to report, have made it without incident.
Unfortunately, Jay knew the local police and got us in the back door.
They were very kind to us. We'll never forget them.
J.D. Collins throws it in the air, and Tyrone Nash won the chip for Notre Dame, clad in white.
Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, Villanova goes. Min with some matchup principles.
Harangody to Ryan Ayers. He's guarded by Anderson.
Good kick.
Good ball movement by Notre Dame. That's when they're at their best, and it's McElharney with a 3, his 106th of the year.
Amazing when you pass the ball, the good looks you get.
Well, once you get it inside and then kick it back out, that was a great pass out, and the extra pass by Jackson.
And the takeaway by Ayers. Villanova had trouble with the turnovers in the loss at home to Georgetown Saturday. The Wildcats turned it over 20 times in losing to the Hoyas. That was their season high.
And you can really drive and draw against this matchup.
Jackson guarded tightly by Shane Clark.
You really have to be strong with the ball against Villanova because they reach and they grab.
Nice pass.
And Nash is fouled on the way up. Fouled by Shane Clark, his first. The first on the team. Jay Wright told us this morning, Bill, that he thinks this might be the worst defensive team he's had at Villanova despite the 23 wins.
You know, they go through the year in spurts. They play good defense while then they concentrate a little bit more on scoring. But as Jay mentioned, the inside out, they're tough because they give it up. They're unselfish and obviously play together.
Tyrone Nash misses the first free throw. He's at 52% for the year. And now 1 for his last 9 from the line as the sophomore from Queens, New York, coming off a career-high 9 rebounds at UConn Saturday. He played 20 minutes because of the injury to Hillsland.
Last 5 games, he's averaged 5 points, too.
Scotty Reynolds buries a 3 to tie the game.
A little simple empty in his side there with the 5-man Cunningham.
But did you see the screen by Cunningham? I mean, Jackson is still screened on that play. That was a great screen.
Now look at Scotty, Sean. He's always sniffing around, looking to help. I think we can make him pay for that.
Ryan Ayers is open, long with a 3 ball. 2 Wildcats collided, and Reggie Redding, the last to touch. He knocked down Dwayne Anderson and helped him up, and the ball goes out of bounds off Villanova.
Now watch this screen. He gets right into him. It's a legal screen, but he went back. Jackson went backwards on that. That's how you headhunt and really get a man open. An excellent screen by Cunningham.
Nice
deflection. Had it deflected away by Shane Clark. He thought Harangody was last to touch.
Clark has really long arms, so you have to stay into him and keep contact. Otherwise, he's going to break that contact and get around in front.
Tough match right here because he can come outside. Harangody tough around the basket and physical. There you go.
Herangody the miss, then Nash the tip that didn't quite dribble over the rim, and it's pulled the other way by Reggie Redding.
Villanova looks small, but that is a tough group out there physically.
They are small. They don't have a player taller than 6'8" on the team, and yet they've been a good rebounding team this year.
All of them get to it 4+ for a number of them. And of course, Cunningham, a stud, having a great year.
Here's another three.
Can't leave him.
Well, that's a good sign for Notre Dame that Ryan Ayers starts out knocking a shot down, because when he plays well, that adds another scoring dimension and makes McElhinney that much harder to guard.
You think of the Louisville game?
Absolutely.
Shane Clark, a long two. And the rebound ripped away by Tyrone Nash, who takes off, dribbling it over midcourt.
Look at top. Good recovery by Redding.
Find Torrey Jackson. Jackson fouled on the way in. Villanova coached by Jay Wright. In his 8th year as head coach of the Wildcats, and he has them on the way to the NCAA tournament for the 5th year in a row with that very strong RPI.
Well, he's serious tonight. No pocket square.
Yeah, and only 3 buttons. Almost had a bad day.
You know, I was working with Mr. Blackwell Sr. and Jr. here tonight. If there are 2 people I know who should not be offering that man
clothing
advice.
You know what he's talking about? He didn't think it should be a shooting foul. Thought the foul was earlier.
Torrey Jackson makes it 8-5 Notre Dame. More than 2.5 minutes in. Only meeting of the regular season between Villanova and Notre Dame. We've had some terrific and very close games here in recent years. Cunningham, that's a part of his game that's improved this year. The jump shot, foul on the rebounding action against Shane Clark, his second. Mike Bray, in his 9th year as head coach of the Irish. Last 2 seasons, the Big East Coach of the Year. Be interesting to see who wins that award this year. A lot of candidates and really none that jump out. You say there's the obvious choice. There are a lot of very good candidates.
A lot of the middle of the pack guys have done a great job with it.
Keno Davis, Buzz Williams, 2 guys that inherited veteran teams, have really done a good job with those squads.
Bob Huggins and every guy, what do you think of it too, right?
Nominate Jay Wright.
Yeah, that's another, absolutely.
That's his team in 5th place with 23 wins.
He gets his feet squared so quickly, McElhinney. Must be a heck of a dancer.
Villanova sends all 5 guys to the defensive glass.
They got to stay with them. Good use of the rim.
Scotty Reynolds, who's already had as many field goals today with 2 as he had all day Saturday against Georgetown when he went 2 for 10 and turned it over 6 times. His poor play is a big factor in their surprising loss to the Hoyas. He'll get a lot called for the foul.
He'll get a lot more than 2 field goals if the baseline is given up quite that easily. But awfully quick, you just have to cut him off and can't let him get all the way to the other side of the basket.
Nobody paid attention either on the baseline to help him.
That's why I think Villanova has to keep going to Dante Cunningham inside when he's guarded by Herangody. Make Herangody guard you.
And Anderson did a great job with his footwork. Nice lead.
There's a beautiful pass to Herangody, and he finished.
He threw it right to that outstretched arm and led him to the basket. And to Herangody's credit, he didn't bring it down. He didn't stop. He just nicely laid it in.
Corey Fisher, the pull-up jump shot well off, and it's Herangody, the rebound and dribble. Ayers stealing it. Rebound, Reggie Redding.
Villanova's got to do a better job in the early offense identifying shooters.
Redding put his head down and passed it off, and Scotty Reynolds is back in form tonight.
He's getting real clean looks, staying active.
He's had a terrific year, even though his stats aren't up a great deal from last year. Scotty Reynolds picks his spots. When it's necessary for him to score, he can score big, but he can also run a team.
Right, his stats really haven't gone up year to year, and some people have asked Jay, what's wrong with Scotty Reynolds? There's nothing wrong with Herangody. But his role, as Jay says, has changed. When he came in as a freshman, they had a team that required scoring from Scotty Reynolds. Now he can be more of a part of the team kind of guy.
Fisher is one of those reasons. He can run the show. in a terrific fashion.
So that's where they have to go. He'll get that all night long because Herringody does not want to guard down in the post for fear of picking up fouls.
He'll trade baskets Sunday and keep them on the floor.
First hoop for Cunningham made it a 1-point game.
Herringody very active too, filling.
Whoever's guarding Nash can really play a one-man zone. Just have to help out on ball screen.
And he's got to get to the rim. That's his game. That's a good look.
Ryan McElharney, he turned it over. Reynolds has help coming in the form of Fisher. Scotty takes it himself.
Nobody got back for Notre Dame. They were very fortunate.
Yeah, 2-on-2.
A long stretch without a whistle in the TV timeout. It's about 2 minutes past due now, so they could be a little bit winded. Continuous action.
Pop. Ooh, lost it. You know, Sean, I watched Jay for 4 years at Duke. I was looking for some offensive ability. I had to come to Notre Dame and watch Herringody, who can mix it up in so many ways. The lead, he's got the ability to dribble space, the pump fake. Get him up. Goody on the money.
Back in South Bend where the season began with high expectations, and Notre Dame lived up to it early on. 9-2, they were ranked 7th in the country and fared well at the beginning of Big East play as well. Open conference action at 3-1. Then they hit that stretch where they played 7 games, 6 of them against ranked opponents. They lost all 7, fell to 12-10, and they were reeling. They have fought back. It began with a rout of Rick Pitino's Louisville squad, a 33-point win, starting a stretch of 4 wins in 6 games. And as we look at their resume, brought to you by DiGiorno, as Mike Bray says, told me after the 7-game losing streak we'd be in the conversation at the start of March. I'd be happy, and they're in the conversation.
And I thought the interesting comment was after the UCLA game, we all talked psychologically all year, what you're doing when the team hits a skid. He did a great job rallying the troops that Sunday, a tough practice, and all of a sudden they righted themselves 4-2 after that.
I think this team still has a terrific opportunity to make the field. Obviously, they have to win this game, and they have to beat St. John's and then play well in the Big East tournament, but it's not over yet. They've got an opportunity.
Absolutely.
9-9 in the Big East, where the marquee win against Villanova included. Their case gets a lot stronger very quickly. Luke Zeller into the ball game for Notre Dame. He just picked up the defensive rebound. Corey Stokes is in for Villanova, number 24. Their best 3-point shooter.
Nice help by Fisher on that particular trip. Almost got it.
Good defense by Cunningham. Jackson was wide open on the baseline, but Zeller couldn't see him because of the pressure on the ball by Dante Cunningham.
Well, they're out there. Herringody to get some touches with the defense out this high.
Shot clock running out. Jackson ball for a double dribble. Jonathan Peoples is on the court now for Notre Dame as well, number 20. That's 3 turnovers on the last 3 trips for Mike Bray's club.
And dribbling too much, I think, out top there. Jackson usually makes quick decisions, gets into the gut.
Notre Dame going with a little zone now. Odd man front and a 3-2 configuration.
Cunningham very good at finding holes against the zone and making good decisions. There's a little short corner. Heads up. Talented kid.
Dante Cunningham, senior from Silver Spring, Maryland. Averaged 7 points per game for his career entering his senior season. He has averaged 16 per game this year.
Does he get attention when he pump fakes?
You'd have to say that Cunningham and probably Wesley Matthews at Marquette are the 2 most improved good players in the conference, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and physically imposing Wes Matthews, I think. Tough kid.
Fisher out to fellow Corey. This one Stokes, and he missed a 3. Aaron go to the rebound. Notre Dame ball down by 1. Peoples missed a 3. Herron go to the offensive rebound among a couple of Wildcats. And he was fouled by Antonio Pena. Tomorrow night on ESPN, Super Tuesday continues with a doubleheader at 7 Eastern, the Big Ten battle. Michigan State They've already clinched at least a share of the Big Ten title. They take on Indiana. And then at 9, the Iron Bowl hits the hardwood. Alabama hosts interstate rival Auburn. Super Tuesday presented by KFC on ESPN.
Well, Alabama coming off a nice win against Ole Miss. And Jeff Lebo's done a really good job with that Auburn team, playing 4 guards, and they are difficult to handle.
Yeah, they are not big.
Scotty Reynolds back into the ball game now for Villanova.
Oh, not a good look.
Reynolds with the steal. Ayers comes back and blocks it.
How about that? And I thought Scotty would do a dip under the rim, feeling the heat. Can't give up on it. Speed dribble. He's got to own him around the rim.
You think you got an easy layup, and all of a sudden you're on your back. What a block.
Woo. Don't give up on it, right? A jump shooter. Now a shot blocker.
Top 30 plays of the last 30 years. Number 10, Les Henson hits it.
The ball goes out of bounds. No, it doesn't go out of bounds. It was grabbed by Les Henson. Threw it down. That ball went in. I don't believe it. That ball went in the basket. Les Henson threw that ball. He is on the floor.
Wow, that shot. Tune in to ESPN tonight at 9 Eastern during the Baylor-Texas game. We'll reveal the 9th greatest play of the last 30 years. And we'll reveal the number 1 play on March 15th during the ACC Championship.
Any great plays that you were involved in that went against you?
On the other end of it, saw a guy hit a 50-footer on a team I played on.
Antonio Pena called for the push-off, so he's picked up 2 quick fouls off the bench. He's played sparingly of late, was a starter at the beginning of the year, but with Shane Clark's return to health, Pena's minutes have gone down. Just 2 minutes Saturday against Georgetown for number 0. Luke Zeller goes out. Notre Dame's offense has gone ice cold here over the last 3.5 minutes.
Goodness, their offense was pretty good when they were passing it. When they're dribbling it, it's not quite as effective, especially against these smaller guards. They've got a little bit of a bigger lineup to go against right now, but they've got to move the ball side to side.
And also, with the stretch defense, you've got to get entry passes to Herrington.
Jackson got stuck in the crowd, and Antonio Pena blocked it down.
I think Fisher makes great decisions, Jay.
Reynolds finds an open Cunningham. Cunningham hustles after it.
That's the margin of victory right there. Those kind of loose balls that Dante Cunningham seems to get more than anybody.
Love him. Kept getting better every year.
Both teams cold offensively now. Ryan Ayers for 3 for Notre Dame.
And Sean, that was Cunningham who had to come out and cover because they were delinquent going over and coming out on the shooter.
Yeah, I think that's where Notre Dame's at their best, in transition, where they can get an opportunistic 3.
Ryan Ayers, one of those Notre Dame seniors trying to play in the NCAA tournament in his last year in college. Reggie Redding comes back in.
Notre Dame so alert to looking for a 3-point shooter in transition, stepping into his shot. If not Ayers, he would have had McElharney just to his right there on the wing.
Evan Jackson, Sean, I'm not sure who's under there swiping.
It is on Torrey Jackson. That is the first Notre Dame foul of the game, 9.5 minutes in. And it sends Antonio Pena to the line, the redshirt sophomore from Brooklyn. 67% from the line this year.
Pena's a guy that's got some good low post moves, but as you mentioned, Sean, he hasn't been playing as much of late. In his last 11 games, he's only scored a combined 32 points.
He got a little bounce to a jump hook. These are the kind of guys that help you come tournament time, though, because as you mentioned, they're not that tall. So they need some contribution from the bigs.
Right, says Pena, the other sophomores, Fisher, Stokes, they're all still works in progress defensively, and the lack of minutes for Pena have as much to do with the defensive end as anything. Peoples missed a 3. Herrington had the rebound go off his hands. Reynolds the push into Ayers.
He does that a little too often. There was nothing there. Fan dribble and get organized. Nice run.
And Ayers runs out of bounds. Couldn't catch the pass.
Notre Dame has way too many turnovers in this ballgame. Everybody's got one, So they think, well, I've just got one, but they're piling up. That's got to be their 6th turnover.
Number 5.
Well, they should have 6.
He was a political science major.
We'll round up. And as you said, Jay, it's unusual because they have the fewest turnovers per game in the country, under 10 per game. Scotty Reynolds is wide open for 3 for Reynolds, shooting just 34.5 for the year from 3.
See, he lets the game come to him. He's a different player. You got to think as you get to the rim. Can you get away with it? Bring it out.
But he's one of those guys that's a little bit streaky. You know, if you let him see it go through the net a couple times, you're going to have a tough night against him.
And Goody.
He's a guy you don't want to play horse against. You know, he's got such a variety of shots off the wrong foot, fades.
Let's see if they give it to Cunningham. Let him go to work on Herringody.
Cunningham throws up an air ball.
Look at the run.
Herringody.
Oh, great move.
Almost jumped in.
How many big guys that are built like linebackers have feet like that?
Whew. Jack be nimble. That is beautiful. Look at his spin out.
And who wants to get in the way and take a charge on that?
You talk, Bill, about his variety of shots. You've had a variety of shots throughout your career.
Too many, too numerous to name, I assure you. I'd be a wealthy man.
Aaron Goody, 10th in the league in free throw shooting, about 80%, just a fraction under. 79 and change, but he missed the first. We mentioned earlier, he's the only player in the country in the top 10 in points and rebounds. Only John Brockman of Washington, John Bryant of Santa Clara have more double-doubles nationally than the 20 for Herringody this year.
Herringody reminds me of a guy, Jim Lesketoff. Do you remember that era?
Yeah, I do remember
Physically. Lesketoff was not an offensive player like this kid, but boy, he was some physical specimen. He was like a hammer.
I was thinking more Bob Hurley.
Oklahoma City. Oklahoma State.
There's Oklahoma and A&M back then, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. One of Bob's favorite guys, Bob, like that is.
Jackson never did get it to the rim. Pulled away by Dwayne Anderson, and now it's Scotty Reynolds. And a whistle for a hold as Villanova moved to the offensive end.
And maybe Herringody.
It was Herringody.
A little nickel dimer. If he's going to get it, he's got to get it when the action comes to him.
Well, Pena did a good job of running the floor and running right to the rim and locking him down in the lane. And that's the value of a big guy that runs the floor. He's going to make Herringody run and make him guard. That's what they've got to do every time down. Involve him in ball screens. Post him up. Make him guard.
First foul on Herringody. Anderson. And then Herringody tipped the rebound to McElharney. Villanova's missed 9 of their last 10 shots in a tie game, 18 apiece. Approaching 8 minutes left in the first half here on Big Monday. Ayers for 3. He's been the offense so far for the Irish.
And you know what happened there? Scotty Reynolds was playing double teaming Herringody. Great ball movement. They couldn't match on Ayers on the wing.
There are just 2 guys on this Notre Dame team you cannot leave, McElharney and Ayers, under any circumstances. The rest you can gamble off of.
Ayers is a career 42% three-point shooter. He's 4th in Notre Dame history. And as so often happens when there's a wide disparity in the number of fouls, one team versus the other, the nickel dimers start to pile.
Sean, the ball movement unbelievable because Scotty Reynolds double team, leaving one of the finer shooters.
Guys are three-point shooters, and that's pretty much all they do.
Both teams with 7 field goals. Notre Dame 4 out of 9 from 3. Ayers is 3 out of 5. He came in 3 for his last 15 from three-point range. Cunningham the bucket to get Villanova back within 1 with 7.5 to go in the first half.
That's an awfully nice move, just backing Nash in, faking one way, and a little turnaround jumper over his right shoulder. That's big time.
Just the second field goal in the last 8 minutes for Villanova, answered by Herringody powering to the glass.
Now you mentioned the big body. He loves to repost, and they stick with him.
Well, Anderson made a huge mistake there trying to gamble and get that steal. If you get the steal, great. But if you don't, you're giving up a layup.
Cunningham working on Ty Nash traveled, trying to establish that position, backing in, and he stumbled.
Well, when you got the big body, Jay, you can get away with this, right?
Here's the repost. He kicks it back out. He's going to kick it back out and then post again. But that Gamble gave up a layup.
Well, the ball wasn't on the correct hand either. They got away with it, ND.
Well, that's the thing. When you pushed him a step off the lane, that's about as well as you can do as a post defender. You're making him take a longer jump hook or a turnaround jumper. When you gamble like that, you don't want to give up a layup.
Peoples fouled on the drive by Corey Fisher. And that's the 8th team foul against Villanova in the half. The second personal on Fisher, sophomore from the Bronx. He played his high school ball at St. Patrick's in New Jersey. And now it's Peoples.
And he had some game at Providence, Sean.
He was terrific. A career high in points with 14 and assists with 9 against the Friars. That was a big win for Notre Dame because it was recent. It was on February 21st at Providence. A 19-point win, 103-84. So now if you get down in Providence and Notre Dame are both on the bubble. Yeah, I have a 9-9 Big East team in Notre Dame, a 10-8 Providence
Big decision.
Yeah, the recent result is a Notre Dame 19-point win at Providence.
Well, Notre Dame played the TV schedule, and Providence didn't. I mean, Notre Dame's schedule was much tougher, and that's one of those things where the committee can say, this team's 9-9 was better than this other team's 10-8. And I don't know, they both could make it, they both could get left out. It's not just those two teams against each other, as you guys know, but having that head-to-head win, especially on the road, is a big factor in favor for Notre Dame.
And finishing well as Notre Dame starting to go to 4-2 with a couple. Nice ball moving for Peoples.
And his three rattled out. And here comes Villanova down by 4, nearing 6 minutes left in the first half. And Reynolds fouled on the drive. 4th team foul against Notre Dame. Wednesday Night Hoops continues this week on ESPN and ESPN2 at 7 Eastern Time. Tyler Hansbrough and now number 2 North Carolina take on Virginia Tech, another bubble team with a chance for a big resume booster. And at 7:30 on ESPN2, 2 of the top teams in the Big East. Number 15 Marquette, number 4 Pitt.
Marquette coming down the stretch, right? Louisville the other day or yesterday up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, playing remarkably well without Dominique James. And how heartbreaking was that?
The worst thing I've seen in quite a while.
There aren't many kids you admire as much as you admire Dominique James and the way he's handled his 4-year career. Just a great kid and a truly outstanding Big East player.
And his sacrificing, too. You know, he played the point, gave up points to make it a better team.
And that loss against Connecticut, and then obviously couldn't play over the weekend against Louisville. You would like to see Marquette be at full strength all the way, but then again, Connecticut dealing with the injury to Jerome Dyson, one of their best players. It's a reality of life in this sport. Fisher takes another Notre Dame turnover to the bucket and gets fouled by Torrey Jackson.
Boy, I love this kid in the lane. He can go at you. He's got a great, like a tank-type body, great body control, and he's got the floater as well.
How about the trap? Trap along the sideline. Karen Godey is jumping essentially backwards to make that pass, and that's the kind of pass that is easy to pick off, and Fisher did a great job of it. And over his last 9 games, you know, there haven't been many players in the Big East coming off the bench as good as he's been, averaging almost, 14 points per game, 58% from the field over that stretch.
They're a good foul shooter at 75%. Villanova is the best free throw shooting team in the Big East. McElharney in for Jackson, who takes the seat with 2 fouls.
And this is why People's playing well, they can do that. Remember early in the year, they wouldn't take Jackson out at all. Just get him some rest, get his head squared on occasion.
1-point game now, 5.5 to go till halftime.
Matchup, 3-quarter court pressure. 1-2-2 to start, but matching up.
Nice job by Cunningham in the post.
See, they're denying 1 pass away in the scoring area.
Ayers in trouble in the corner, and Fisher fouls Herringody from behind.
Notre Dame cannot take it to that baseline and pick it up. That is a bad place to pick it up.
Herringody made a great move just to get out and bail his teammate out.
And Reggie Redding's coming back in because that's 3 personal fouls now on Corey Fisher. Their 3rd leading scorer at 11 points per game. He'll likely sit out for the rest of the half. The 9th team foul That's a 1-and-1 for Herringode. He missed the front end, but Ryan Ayers was in the right spot. And McElharney, that's the right spot for him ordinarily, but he missed an open three.
A nice job by Peoples getting it to his teammate. Quick, with eat on it. Look at that. So did you see Herringode? He just backed up. He wanted to get involved.
How about that pass from Corey Stokes? I mean, he's got the threat of knocking down the perimeter jump shot, and that was a very nice post feed.
Villanova on the run now, and that's the 7th lead change of this first half as they've gone ahead by 1.
And you did a nice job doing his homework early, leading the cutter Herringode.
Villanova doing a nice job overall, staying in front of ball handlers, not giving up any straight line drives.
Reynolds just a little bump on the pass off, but whistled by John Cal. That's the first foul on Scotty Reynolds, junior from Herndon, Virginia, and it's the double bonus now.
Well, that is a big-time feed, passing away from the defense and delivering it to where Dante Cunningham can make a move to the basket.
Peoples at the line. We mentioned his performance against Providence. Villanova really is cast in the role of spoiler these days in the Big East. They played Georgetown, the team trying to get back into the NCAA tournament conversation on Saturday. The Hoyas beat them to get a much-needed win. They're playing Notre Dame, fighting for its life here tonight, and they'll close out the regular season with Villanova against Providence. Pena off the setup from Reynolds.
Jay's sort of tired of helping other franchises, as they say, huh? A nice attack.
Well, there was no vision on the ball. Nash needed to see what was going on. He was in the middle of the lane and never saw it. And Herringode, you involve him in some ball screening, and you're going to have that screener open.
And here's Scotty. He can elevate and get a jump shot if they give it to him.
Nash ties the game. It was a 7-1 run for Villanova before Peoples to Nash. Peoples went for the steal. Reynolds missed the open three. Nice rebound by Ryan Ayers, who's had a very good first half. Nice control. Herringode. And here's Reynolds the other way for Villanova. 3:10 to go in the half.
And Notre Dame gambled the last trip. We don't gamble with an open shot to Reynolds.
And Reggie Redding, the 2-point field goal for the junior from Philadelphia out of St. Joseph's Prep.
He's the quintessential glue guy. Just does things that are going to help you win. Good defender. Always goes to the glass. And knocks down open shots.
Jay Wright felt like they played one of their best games of the year in their win at Syracuse. And Reggie Redding was terrific in that game. 11 points, 7 assists, and 6 steals. 10 to shoot for Notre Dame. And McElharney to Herringode. And it's Ayers for 3. His 4th 3 of the half.
Herringode running the point.
Mike Brady
wants a timeout.
Trying to get a timeout. Nobody sees him.
And they're all looking at Herringode. They didn't call it yet.
Yeah, but he's upset because he was calling it the whole way and nobody was looking.
Jay Wright's upset because he thought Herringode traveled before he set up Ayers. Now Peoples called for the foul. And Mike Bray onto the court to get into the face of Tyrone Nash as finally they do get the timeout.
Well, involving Luke Herringode and ball screen action has been good, and nobody is watching from the weak side. Tyrone Nash just a spectator, and the nice pass to Ayers, who has been knocking down shots. 12 points, all on 3. I didn't think that dancing was so great. I thought the best thing I saw all week was when somebody called it Digger Phelps dancing with the Cal cheerleaders while a fragile nation weeps.
Did you see the graphic on PTI today? Over the shot of Digger dancing, it said, "Happy Trails, Dignity."
You know, I had a very depressing evening in Louisville on Friday night. The waiter thought I was Digger Phelps. I stiffed him, I'll tell you.
What's your excuse for the many other times you stiffed them at that hour of the night?
Well, I had a reason this time.
Stokes played it inside. Reggie Redding, tough fade away. And he got tipped out to Torrey Jackson looking to run for the Irish.
Jackson had him.
Yeah, they had numbers. Anderson had fallen down. Took him a while to get back up court, but the other four covered up very nicely in transition.
Yeah, they confuse you, Villanova. They really mix it up.
They're so quick.
Yeah.
They don't just play position defense. They go in to try to steal the ball.
Well executed offense that time by Notre Dame, and Jonathan Peoples the finish.
Well, he's playing with so much more confidence. Great to see.
Now, that was a good example. People think patience in basketball is just holding the ball a little bit, but patience is really moving yourself and moving the ball, giving the defense a chance to make a mistake, and ultimately it did because Notre Dame was resolute in running offense for 20 seconds.
Corey Jackson dribbled to the three-point line and missed it, rebounded by Cunningham with a minute to go in the first half.
You know, particularly against that matchup, you've got to be patient, Jay. You get what you want.
Jackson did a good job staying in front of Dante Cunningham on this one.
Billy Stokes is a terrific three-point shooter, nearly 44% for the year. And what an improvement over his freshman year when he was under 30%, 29.6.
I remember going down there and watching practice, and he wasn't shooting with confidence, and that's what Jay worked on him. And not afraid, unabashed now to stick it.
Defended by Dwayne Anderson, and now Villanova will call a timeout with a chance to take the last shot of the half. A half that has featured 8 lead changes and 6 ties, and the largest lead was Notre Dame by 4.
Just about as expected, though. Pretty even teams, don't you think?
Yeah, play different styles.
Yeah.
Villanova is so hard to play against. They've got almost a mismatch at every position. And even though that Notre Dame has a size advantage, they're really not able to see in to deliver the ball.
Notre Dame's DiGiorno tournament resume, trying to get to 9-9 at the end of regular season play in the Big East Conference. They have St. John's here in the Joyce Center on Friday to close out the regular season. They're 3-8 against ranked opponents, but only one of those teams is still ranked, Louisville. The other wins against teams that were ranked at the time were Texas and Georgetown. So they have strengthening still to do.
Remember the Texas game? We thought they were underway.
Well, that was back when Texas was playing great.
Very good, very well.
They were both in the top 10 in the country at the time, and both looking like top 10 teams. Notre Dame and Texas have both slipped quite a bit from those days back in November in Maui. Here's blocked Cunningham's shot, and it seems at just end of the half that they go off even, since it was such a competitive first half. Scotty Reynolds and Ryan Ayers leading the way.
Right after we told you they're meaningless.
What's that?
We just told you they're meaningless.
But we have to show them anyway. It's part of what we do. Notre Dame, a surprisingly high number of turnovers, and that 2 turnovers for Villanova is good news because they had a season-high 20 when they lost to Georgetown in a very sloppy performance on Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia. It's been a lot of this kind of thing lately for Villanova. The last 3 games all right down to the wire. They had chances late up in Georgetown, but never really could get that late lead Saturday in Philly.
And that's one of the things, Sean, I think that really helps Villanova when they get to tournament play, is that they've been in close games and in pressure situations. That's where they live. They're not going to be surprised by it.
Push off by Cunningham, got away with it, but the ball went out of bounds. That was a great set play. Back screen to get the big guy to the 10.
And to force the switch. They ultimately got the switch, but Jackson does a really good job when he's on a big guy of getting in front. He just fronts them and makes them throw over the top.
Now McElharney scored the first basket of the game and has not scored since.
Nice pass.
Aaron Godey. Boy, a sign of a well-coached team. First possession of the half. Beautifully designed and executed play.
Both teams, though. Cunningham didn't convert, but it was solid.
This is a tough game for McElharney because he's guarded by guards with great size and strength.
Cunningham's shot was short. Out of bounds. Last touch by Ryan Ayers.
Half of post play is putting the ball in the right spot. And just that little guide hand there, telling the offensive forward where to put it. The big guy, the big bear around the 10.
But again, the post defender selling out.
Great defense by Ty Nash. And Villanova turns it over. They had 2 the entire first half. They've had 2 already here in the second half.
And that's the kind of play that Notre Dame needs out of Ty Nash. To come in, to hustle, to rebound, to play good defense, and to run the floor.
Torrey Jackson to Kyle McElharney. Took just 3 shots in that first half. All of them threes. Herringody blocked from behind by Dwayne Anderson.
How about that? Athleticism. Interestingly enough, McElharney has the defense all the way out, which opens up that passing lane to the big fella, but Villanova does not give up on the attempt.
Yeah, when Shane Clark is guarding Herringody, when the ball comes in there, he's trying to get around front and knock that thing away. He's just got to stay solid, stay behind him, and let his help do the work.
McElharney was tripped. And Scotty Reynolds is called for his second foul. First team foul on either side here in the second half.
Jay was saying today that they will double Herringody from the point. Let's see if they do that with Scotty.
Yeah, you can do that because you don't mind daring Torrey Jackson to take a perimeter shot.
Right, compared to the other 2.
Tough shot again, and Herringody gets it to fall as he falls to the deck.
What a ticker this kid has. Just gives it all, lays it out, makes you compete.
He was imploring the crowd to get involved. They haven't been the typically loud Joyce Center crowd tonight. This is such an important game for Notre Dame. They could use the help from the fans.
How about that penetration by Reddy? Little kiss at the end.
That was just a strength drive.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing quick or fast about it. He just bowled his way to the basket and dared anybody to get in his way.
2 minutes gone by, second half. Herringody traveled.
Shane Clark had his hands on him, and I thought that's supposed to be an absolute. You got your hands on him, that's an absolute foul.
How about this effort, though, Jay? I mean, he goes after the shirt of the defender. But the only guy he can't do that is Thabit.
Exactly.
You know, on a consistent basis.
The beat he tries to take away from the basket and then get quick shots over him by creating space.
Gee, he's been making that thing.
Yeah, all year long, but not tonight. Cunningham's miss was rebounded by Antonio Pena, and they're getting a nice performance by Pena. As I mentioned earlier, has been on the milk carton lately for Villanova. The bench points now 11-4 in favor of Villanova.
He's good at bouncing himself into a shot. So's he.
Herringody's shot bounced off. Torrey Jackson in there, and then he had it ripped away by Reggie Redding.
Strength on strength.
Scotty Reynolds for 3.
Tough kid. He is a confident player. He's out of the gate. He started early. He gets on a roll. He puts him on his shoulder.
Notre Dame needs a score here. This is a little bit danger time for Notre Dame.
Scotty Reynolds now 2 points away from 1,500 in his career. Herringody was fouled by Pena.
And just that little screen by Dante Cunningham, and all of a sudden Ayers couldn't get out there. He's worried about the drive, playing off him, and Reynolds is dialed in. He makes his first couple shots, and it's going to be a long night for you. And I'll tell you what, Bill, the post defense by Villanova has not been good on Herringody. They are trying to steal the ball instead of playing solid.
And Ayers on a little simple screen gets the open jumper. He uses his backside as well as anybody in the country, though. Pulls that defender off.
14 for Ayers. That's above his average of 11 per game. He can have some big scoring nights. Had 28 in their win at Providence. Pena, air ball, well short, taken away by Nash to Jackson.
This is where McElharney's dangerous.
Wound up with it off an awkward-looking pass from Torrey Jackson.
Steps again, I thought, huh?
He walked and got away with that little shuffle step. And then Nash on the offensive glass. Looked like Pena was defending Herringody carefully because Antonio has 3 fouls, and now Dante Cunningham has his second.
It's amazing how guys improve during the season to make you a better team. Peoples, we mentioned, Nash has been more active when he's out there.
He's concentrating on what he can really do to help this Notre Dame team. That's run the floor, rebound, go to the glass on every possession, and make sure you defend.
And try and make the free throws. 52%.
And that's hurt Notre Dame tonight. 5 out of 12 from the line.
Watch, he's not following through. He's kind of short-arming these and flicking the ball.
We've seen enough short arms hanging around McDonough.
Tied at 39. Such an important game for both teams. Notre Dame needs a big win with an eye toward the NCAA tournament. Villanova trying to get into the top 4 in the Big East and a double bye in the Big East tournament, playing for an NCAA tournament seed. Perhaps playing to play the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament in Philadelphia. Mike Brey's team has rebounded nicely from that 7-game losing streak, the longest of his tenure at Notre Dame. They're now 16-12 with an RPI of 69 and among 4 Big East bubble teams. Right now, our bracketologist Joe Lunardi has Providence among the last teams in the field. Cincinnati, Georgetown, and Notre Dame among those with work to do.
And these teams, of course, aren't just competing against each other for an NCAA tournament at-large bid. It's against all the other teams out there. But I think what's really interesting, the committee's looking for the 34 best teams. And these RPI numbers, I think, are meaningless. The question is, can you beat really good teams? Because that's all you'll be playing in the NCAA tournament. I think Notre Dame's proven that they can. They need to continue to win, though, to convince the committee.
It's obvious Joe Lunardi thinks the RPI numbers are meaningless, too. If he has Providence in with an RPI of 69, Ryan Ayers fouled while shooting a 3-point shot, and that's the 4th personal foul on Antonio Pena. And it's not a deep Villanova team. Neither of these teams deep. Villanova plays an 8-man rotation.
This is like a turnover. I mean, it's like a monster mistake. You're not going to block the shot. We're always talking about skipping out, under control, or running by on the side.
It's also a bad switch. I mean, if you're going to switch, you better be dialed in. The guy who is bumping off better know that the man switching on has got him. You cannot leave Ryan Ayers. You just can't do it.
Ayers has made one of the first 2. He's an 81% free throw shooter. Pena goes to the bench with 4 fouls, but Ryan, because he usually stays on the perimeter, doesn't get to the line much. He has attempted now 29 free throws this year. This is their 29th game of the year.
Now, we mentioned his great Louisville game. I think his dad was able to get out here at a day off for the NBA. He seems to be playing with a lot more confidence.
Ryan's dad, Randy Ayers, former head coach at Ohio State and the 76ers. Wayne Anderson the miss. Nash had the rebound, then it was poked away. Notre Dame ball up by 2. Just over 15 minutes to go here on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light.
I didn't think that was a very good shot by Anderson. He was trying to attack Herringode, but he did so all off of his dribble, didn't make the defense move. I thought he settled for that shot. It wasn't a good one.
Notre Dame does a nice job freeing the cutters. Move a step, extend the backside.
Jackson, very little room along that baseline. Tyrone Nash rescued it, and then it's a held ball. It'll stay with Notre Dame as they go to the arrow.
Good call, too. All the hands were on it. Not much room around that rim. You can get a kick-out pass if you're alert. Getting a little too deep with the bounce.
You better be able to play through contact in this league.
Ayers with the shot clock running out. It pops out. Herringode attacked the offensive rebound.
Boy, he set his guy up early. He knows it's going to be a soft delivery because it's Ayers. And then the big fella, Lubin tough.
Scotty Reynolds quiets the crowd with a 3. A very brief 4-point lead for Notre Dame. Match the largest of the night for either team. This one has been nipped and tucked throughout with so much on the line for both teams.
Isn't it impressive how Scotty Reynolds, he plays on the floor and in such good control.
Speaking of stepping up large.
Intercepted the cross-court pass. They whip it quickly into Cunningham.
Floater.
By Fisher. Another good rebound by Nash. He blocked Cunningham away. 10th rebound for Tyrone Nash, playing for the injured Zach Hillsland. He joined us late. Hillsland, ordinarily a starter, not playing because of a bruised sternum. He took a shot from Hashim Thabit over the weekend in Connecticut.
The game is picking up a little bit right here, isn't it? A little more aggressive on the defensive end and not afraid to go to their big guys at the right time. There's with the jumper, Jay, and just look how he shoulders underneath the tin.
Just locked him down, and then just a little dribble pull-up off the ball screen, and Scotty Reynolds always under control. I'll tell you, Kyle McElharney has not gotten a good look at the basket all night long.
Nice hesitation there.
A good look there with the running floater. It popped out to Dante Cunningham, so a chance for the lead now for Villanova with 13 and a half to go. And Reynolds gives them the lead.
This kid's unbelievable. Likes to stick it.
They're just killing him off the ball screen.
And really not much room. He's elevating just enough. But by the way, Jay, you're right. He's not helping as much, Reynolds. He's staying at home on McElharney, not gambling quite as much.
Well, he just got on McElharney. They've been guarding him with Redding, a little bit with Anderson. That puts great size on him. I think he's better off being guarded by Reynolds.
They get whatever they want on penetration.
Aaron Godey dropped it in. Ties the game at 45 with under 13 to go.
Nice.
Sellout.
Yep.
Just a sellout defensively.
Dante Cunningham with 10.
Well, sometimes it's not bad to just stay behind your man in the post and make him make a post move and shoot over you. When you sell out like that, you're giving up 100% shot.
Well, there's some guys you don't sell out on, right? He's one of them.
I don't think you do it in this type of game, period. You know, I know exactly what you're saying, but
there's some guys you let them catch it, they may not be able to score, but not right here tonight.
Aaron Godey looks like he's out of gas a little bit.
I got the timeout for that reason.
Yeah, essentially, Notre Dame's played with 6 men tonight. Zeller just 2 minutes off the bench. The 10-2 Villanova run, fueled by Scotty Reynolds.
Scotty Reynolds using that ball screen, and Luke Herringody, when he gets the ball, he is money inside.
Reached 800 wins with the victory at Marquette. Added another with the hard-fought victory over Notre Dame in Connecticut over the weekend.
Outstanding career. Goes right up top this year as well. See if Herringody can perform now. Got a little rest.
12 minutes to go. Critical game for Notre Dame with an eye toward the NCAA tournament. Torrey Jackson makes a tough shot with the shot clock running down.
And not bad by Reynolds. He did a pretty good job containing and Cunningham just a little bit late on the swipe.
Well, and a strong move by Jackson because he got bumped not once but twice and still finished that play.
Good call here. He is not being guarded at all. Herringody let the entry pass. Cunningham able to take a good ISO.
Well, I'd go to Cunningham every time down. They need to keep making Luke Herringody guard.
Cunningham's getting more assertive here of late, and his teammates doing a better job of finding him. He didn't take many shots in the loss to Georgetown on Saturday, just 7. He has their last 6 points tonight for Villanova. Peoples, Ayers, open for 3.
What a look by Peoples, and knowing where Peoples are. The ability to drift and be alone. Ayers lighten it up.
And Jay Wright has asked for a mini timeout with 10:56 to go, and his team leading by 1. It's 19 points on 5 3 balls for Ryan Ayers.
And Jay, you watch, this is a great call. The ISO, nobody around, and the pirouette knockdown, and they can play it.
And Notre Dame, when they've moved the ball from side to side and then have attacked off the dribble, that's when they've found some success.
Tomorrow night on ESPN, Super Tuesdays continue with a doubleheader at 7 Eastern, the Big Ten battle. Michigan State up to number 8 now in the rankings, taking on Indiana. And then at 9 Eastern time, the Iron Bowl hits the hardwood. Alabama hosts rival Auburn. Super Tuesday presented by KFC on ESPN tomorrow night.
Michigan State finally healthy.
The 2 old buddies going against one of the 2, huh? Green and Izzo.
Well, have you seen a team that's played harder than Indiana's played?
Well, they are just riding it now. A little pump fake. Herringody want to get nicked with another.
Last 8 Villanova points scored by Dante Cunningham. And he kicks Ryan Ayers' pass out of bounds. That'll get us to a full media timeout. With 10:34 remaining and Villanova up by 3. Game for both teams. Here's our side-by-side presented by Cars.com, and the big fellas putting up the numbers you would expect tonight.
Well, Cunningham's been going right at Herringody, and I think the key really, though, is Villanova's defense on Kyle McElharney. McElharney has had size on him the whole game, whether it's been Dwayne Anderson or Reggie Redding. They have stayed with him. They have not helped off. And Kyle McIlharney really only got one good look at the basket. That was his first shot in the first half. Might have been the first basket of the game.
It was for either team. McIlharney had 30 points last year against Villanova in Notre Dame's 10-point win at the Wachovia Center. He went 10 for 16 for the game, 5 out of 9 from 3. Also made 5 free throws. So
steal.
We watched the shoot-around build this morning, and Jay Wright's team was paying a lot of attention to how they were going to defend Kyle McIlharney in the scouting report.
Excellent job staying at home. They're going to stay at home on airs as well, though, Sean.
Shane Clark, the offensive rebound, and Villanova has its largest lead of the night, 5 points.
They drew Luke Herringody away from the basket to try to pressure that shot by Dante Cunningham, and that just opened up the offensive glass to the length of Shane Clark.
Now the automatic switch. This is where, let's see if they kick out to McIlharney. They're going to play a timeout.
Herringody looking for help and couldn't find it. Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, Bill Raftery, our producer Scott Matthews, our director Mike Schwab, our outstanding ESPN Big Monday crew. All brought to you by Bud Light. Nova by 5 in a virtual must-win game for Notre Dame, if they're realistically going to make the NCAA tournament. If they don't win tonight, we're probably looking at the prospect, at the very least, making the final of the Big East tournament, if not winning the entire thing and getting the automatic bid.
Well, what a tough assignment that would be.
They have to win 5 games in 5 days now with the expanded Big East tournament, with all 16 teams going to New York. Torrey Jackson the miss. It got tipped around to Dante Cunningham, and Villanova opening up some breathing room with the hot shooting of late.
Nice pass. Nice pump.
And it's Shane Clark, unlucky there as it popped out to Ryan Ayers. Torrey Jackson had Reynolds sneaking up quickly. McIlharney, a rare shot, only his 5th of the night. Foul on the rebounding action against Villanova.
Might be Anderson underneath, but McIlharney, he was so shocked he was wide open. I thought he rushed that a little bit.
He probably got away with a walk there, actually.
Yeah, incidentally, they had the graphic of the big guys. Isn't it nice? I'm sure you a little upset seeing the big guys have those kind of numbers and touches compared to your career.
It's about time they start throwing the ball inside this guard-dominated game.
They gave that foul to Cunningham, his 3rd. Notre Dame has not committed a foul here in the second half. Their first foul of the game came 9.5 minutes into the first half, and they've played more than 11 minutes here in the second half without fouling.
And one of the problems you have with that is if they wind up coming down to the wire and have to give up a foul at the end, they're not going to be able to put Villanova at the free throw line.
Nash with a small change move, and they've been looking at that all year. You mentioned Redding guarding, and it's also been the complexity of the automatic switches. When Reynolds is on them once in a while, they trade people, but Redding physically, I think, has done the job.
Well, Redding and Dwayne Anderson, when he's been on him, one of the ways, though, that I think McIlharney could get more involved is to start acting as a screener rather than just as a cutter. He sets some screens, he's liable to get open a lot easier.
I think Cunningham could do some damage with that. Now they got the switch.
Reynolds looks like he wants to take it. Drew the defense and found Reggie Redding for 3.
Wow. Dribble drive, kick. Solid play by Reynolds.
And that's the danger in Nash helping off the wing. You're not really going to do that much to stop the drive, but you're opening up a shot where the three-point shooter can step into his shot.
And Jay, they do a nice job of running the high-low that keeps people busy, trying to understand exactly what's going on. Then you get it out to your lead guard, draws 2, kick, a little nylon from deep.
McIlharney, you can see trying to step in and take that charge, but that left Redding wide open on the wing. And Nash was the guy that had to try to get back out there after guarding the ball.
And Redding 27% from 3. If he can start lighting it up, another guy to be concerned with.
Well, that was just his 15th three-point field goal made this year. Notre Dame uncharacteristically sloppy with the ball, and Villanova has taken advantage of the turnovers. The points off turnovers are 17-5 in favor of Villanova.
Huge possession here for Notre Dame.
Diagonal to the box. Go to your money guy at some point. Nice denial. Oh, what a great play. Anderson.
So many things to help this Villanova team. Now a chance for a double-digit lead for Villanova. Reynolds pass deflected and taken away by Jackson. He missed the layup. And Anderson is fouled by Herringody on the rebounding action.
Jackson made a great effort. There's no way he should have had that ball, but unfortunately not able to finish.
7:45 to go. Notre Dame hoping its bubble does not burst here tonight. You look at their team, a lot of very good players. I'm not sure they have any great college players, and it's one of the reasons why I think Jay Wright deserves serious consideration to be the coach of the year in this conference.
Well, they're so hard to play against. You know, they give you mismatches. They're very good off the dribble. They've got guys that can score at multiple positions, and here's one of them. He might be the toughest matchup on this team.
Nice step through. Hanging tough, Herringody.
Cunningham stayed with it, and Villanova has 10 to shoot. Cunningham working on Herringody. The fadeaway short, and Redding goes over the back and commits the foul. That'll be the 16th foul against Villanova.
Nice play by McElharney, though, just checking his guy out.
What a great possession defensively for Notre Dame. A team that we have talked about perhaps being a little bit defensively challenged. It's certainly not the strong point. It's a team that can score. But in a key situation down 8, to get that kind of stop has got to give them some confidence.
The job Villanova's done defensively here in the second half. Notre Dame's only been able to take 3 3-point shots in this half. That's such a huge part of their arsenal. Herringody barked at the officials. He felt he was fouled inside. Anderson gets his own long rebound.
Great control, too, with that prying foot.
And Reynolds the same. And Reynolds has another 3.
Boy, the old-fashioned pivot foot drill. Did that come in handy in both spots? Fundamentally sound.
Well, you drilled that. I mean, he had a toenail on the ground, and that was it. What a great play by Scotty Reynolds.
Great control.
6 threes tonight for Scotty. A season high and a travel. Torrey Jackson with the 13th Notre Dame turnover of the night, 4 above their average.
And Sean, you mentioned Jay. What he does is put a team together. It might not be the guy, the most attractive performer in the world, but he has that concept where they all can bite you in some way. They play together, and it's exhibited itself particularly late in this game.
Well, in a way, it's kind of controlled chaos out there. I mean, they run a lot of ball screens, but he wants to put his team in a position where they can make plays off the dribble. You know, reverse it, then put it on the deck. And I'll tell you, they've been resolute going inside in this game.
And they are pulling away. Shane Clark rattles one home. 12 straight points for Villanova. And this very thin Notre Dame team, essentially playing with 6 men tonight, might be out of gas with their tournament hopes on the line. McElharney, what effort. Herringody, he's smacked and comes up barking and is walked away by teammates.
I'll tell you what, he does keep playing, though. Say what you want. Maybe occasionally defensively, he actually has to stay in the game. But he gives you everything under there.
Corey Fisher just picked up his 4th foul, and that puts Villanova over the limit. Here's Herringody. Making the first free throw. Fisher goes out with the 4, and Corey Stokes is in.
You know, with your background, I know what you're thinking. If you work hard on defense, you won't foul as much.
That's what absolutely.
Yeah. And that's something, well, again, philosophically speaking, you know, they do junk the defenses, match up with zone. They want to keep them on the floor. Everybody's got their own way of doing it.
Well, the free throw line has really hurt Notre Dame. Usually a very good free throw shooting team, but they have let some points get away.
70% for the year. Roughly 50 at this point.
9 out of 18 tonight, and Herringody's 2 out of 5. He's ordinarily 79%. Nice move by Shane Clark.
Big time, twice now. Different guys at different sizes slip in there. The freedom to do it.
That's textbook up and under. Nicely done.
Clark's rallied nicely from early season arthroscopic knee surgery. And Peoples too strong off the glass with a layup. Desperation time for the Irish, and Herringody goes on top of the pile, a held ball, and the ball goes over to Villanova.
And Charlie Rice would love that action, wouldn't he? Getting down and after it. Here you go, Jay. Pete Newell.
Just a pretty move. The up, under, and step through.
Oh, there he is. Would he like Herringody, Sean? You do all the football.
Of course, Herringody's brother was a tight end at Indiana. Many thought Luke from a Hoosier family would go to Indiana, but elected to come to Notre Dame. He's had one of the great careers in Notre Dame history. A junior. Remains to be seen if he'll be back next year. If he does, he'll have a chance to be the first player ever in this school with 2,000 points and 1,000 career rebounds.
He didn't need that.
Boy, Ayers got fouled there. That's why the crowd is groaning. And Anderson goes in for a dunk. Fans had reason to boo that time as Ayers got hit in the head when he was going for the rebound. Timeout. Mike Bray, his last timeout with 4:50 to go.
No sense saving him. You know what it's all about. He's so proud of these kids, and I don't know if they got the energy now.
He's been proud. We talked with him before the game, Bill and Jay, about how when they played that stretch of 7 straight games that all went in the loss column, 6 of them against ranked opponents, the other against a very good Cincinnati team. He wasn't that concerned because he knows it's a veteran group with a lot of character that they could and he thought would bounce back. They have, but they've had to bounce back in a major way. And if this one does not go into the win column, you'd have to think the bounce back wasn't enough.
Yeah, it is tough to play essentially elimination game after elimination game. I mean, they've been living in elimination territory the last month. And I don't care how veteran you are. When you lose 7 games in a row and play the kind of schedule that they played, which was put together primarily for television purposes, those are body blows that are tough to recover from. I don't care who you are.
He really has the type of kids. He doesn't have some problems that some other schools may have on occasion. You know, they're tough-minded. They know what they're after. I just think a lot of minutes on the floor, and Jay used the word chaotic, and I would agree with that with Villanova's defense. They mix you up. It's never the same guy on you at all times. They trap you from different areas, play passing lanes. Very tough.
Villanova, the tough is the word. They are tough defensively. They're tough to guard. You know, they are very, very strong. I'll tell you what, they're athletic. And when they reach in, I mean, those guys are strong. Tough to knock them off the ball. This is a very, very good basketball team.
Having a slightly better than expected season. Whoops. Good catch by Peebles on the pass from McElhenney out of the corner.
And no Harangody. They got to settle on the perimeter.
Luke Zeller's back in. 4.5 minutes to go. And if this one stays this way, this is going to have to be termed a very disappointing season for Notre Dame. 25 Big East wins the last 2 years. Preseason number 9 in the country. High is number 7 early. Ayers makes a 3 to bring the crowd to life a little bit. Now they'll bring some pressure. I don't think anybody could have anticipated that Notre Dame would be 16-13 at 29 games if this one goes in the Elkhorn.
How about at Thanksgiving? We thought they were going to have an extraordinary year, but they didn't handle that downtime. Couldn't get a bounce-back steal.
That's the kind of shot that can get Notre Dame back in this game.
And one here.
Now, that shot by Anderson was not necessary. When you've got a lead, you don't take that shot.
And Tyrone Nash will be at the free throw line after the media timeout. All right, Ron. We'll look forward to that. Tight throughout the entire first half, but Villanova pulling away here in the second on their way, it seems, to their 24th win of the year, but a lot of time remaining. 3:45 to go, and Ty Nash has had a tough night at the free throw line. Back there again.
Because they've got a pressing unit in there. Harangody will probably come in if they get the basketball. Make some threes, generate a little juice.
And Villanova, when they get the ball, they've got to run some offense.
Without Harangody in there, not a terrific rebounding team for Notre Dame. They're coming with the press. Handled well by Villanova, leading by 12, 3.5 to go. And their hopes alive of getting into that top 4 in the Big East if they can hang on to this win.
That's right. They have the 2 point guards. That's the advantage now, Jay.
Well, and also Notre Dame's is only their 3rd team foul. So Notre Dame can take some chances, but if they continue to foul, this Villanova team going to be able to run a lot of time off this clock.
First foul on McElhenney. Torrey Jackson comes back in for Jonathan Peoples. Crowd's very quiet now. The reality setting in that this could be bubble officially burst tonight if it stays like this.
Milk a little here.
A lot of other bubble teams around the country, they're probably cheering like heck for Villanova right now. One less team on the bubble, perhaps, if it stays this way.
So many options now at the end of this. Cunningham being one of the main inside, obviously, but they've been isoing for him. He drifts out.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Shane Clark.
And a nice look by Reynolds with some solid numbers tonight.
Shane Clark has been knocking down some threes in Big East play, shooting 42% since Big East play started.
McElharney, the quick response. Still Nova by 13. 2:35 to go. They look to trap in the corner, and it got through to Cunningham. And now Reynolds.
I thought he was looking.
Ayers the foul. Team foul number 4 against the Irish here in the second half. Wednesday Night Hoops presented by Disney Parks. Starts at 7 on ESPN with North Carolina and Virginia Tech. ESPN 2, 7:30 Marquette and Pittsburgh. A huge game in the Big East. Villanova with a chance to move past Marquette for the 4th spot in the Big East if things play out. They win out and get another Marquette loss.
Clock's your pal now if you're the Cats.
3 fouls on Nash, 5 team fouls. McElharney's foul will make it 6 on the team. Corey Fisher was fouled. That was a huge loss for Villanova Saturday to Georgetown, a game they figured to win against a scuffling Georgetown team in Philadelphia. But they're looking for help now with a chance to try and catch Marquette. The two teams split Marquette and Villanova, their 2 regular season meetings. The tiebreaker is they go to the record for those 2 teams against whichever team finishes first.
Okay. And by the way, Georgetown, they had been struggling, but you never know. I mean, they get a little roll going now.
Sure. They have some very good wins on their resume.
They're a good basketball team. And you know, it's all about attitude, too. You start thinking about playing well and playing together, a lot of good things can happen. Particularly if you have the talent they have.
Boy, isn't it amazing how tough it is to build up confidence throughout the course of the season, how easy it is for that confidence to fly away. Oof. Kill him.
That is big.
Missed the front of the 1-and-1. Of course, no Herringody on the court.
Look at this ball moving, too. Spreading.
You have to foul. You just can't wait this out.
Ayers does foul Shane Clark, who's a good choice to foul. He's just 56% from the line. But we're down to 2 minutes to go, and a lot of the fans here at the Joyce Center are heading out.
Well, with that 3-point line, if they can keep putting Villanova on the free throw line and trade them 3 for 2, 3 for 1, you never know.
Clark, a senior, part of a terrific senior class. Anderson, Dante Cunningham, and Frank Tweesey are the other seniors. And with a win tonight, they will be the winningest senior class in the history of Villanova basketball. It will be the 96th career win for the Villanova seniors.
Wow.
Zeller.
I think you know now, Jay, though. You never know.
You got to hit the threes if you're going to take them. I mean, this game is essentially over, but with the 3-point line and the way Notre Dame shoots it, you certainly don't want to count a team out, especially if you're Villanova.
Remaining games, a huge game. Mike Sheridan, the terrific sports information director of Villanova, says Villanova is continuing its desperation tour. They played a desperate Georgetown team, a desperate Notre Dame team tonight. Now a desperate Providence team trying to continue to build up that tournament resume. Torrey Jackson saved it, but none of his teammates alert to his plight. Off balance in the corner. And the bucket by Anderson. He was fouled. And now, deeper down the bench goes Mike Bray with the outcome clearly no longer in doubt. And look at the looks and the faces of the Irish on that bench.
And you know that this is one where you've got to run. Everybody thought he had full control, and normally he would with that foot speed. I think it's been interesting with Herringody not coming back in. Whether he got hurt on that fumble or they just went with the speed and 3-point shooting.
Well, they needed to force some turnovers and launch up some threes.
He hasn't been receiving any medical attention. Doesn't look to be in any discomfort over there. Ryan Ayers, well, you can't fault him for this loss tonight for Notre Dame. He has been outstanding. 22 points for the senior from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. Not far from Villanova.
Beautiful of Larry, the country.
Irish personal, number 2, Torrey Jackson.
Torrey Jackson called for the foul. Time now for tonight's Player of the Game. It's brought to you by 21st Century Insurance, and it's Scotty Reynolds, who's had a terrific all-around game. 23 points on 6 out of 7 from the three-point line. He's at 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
A couple of steals. I mean, he only had 1 turnover last time I checked.
You know what he does much better than he did his first couple of years? Driving to the rim and looking for the foul and not getting it. Now he's making much better decisions sooner. We saw that driving kick for a 3.
He's just more mature. I mean, people look at numbers and think, well, he averaged 14 points a game as a freshman. He should be averaging much more now. It's not the points, the way he gets them. I mean, he's making smart plays now, getting everybody else involved. He's not a classic point guard, but tell you what, he's a classic winner.
Basketball decisions he's making.
Carlton Scott making his first appearance of the night on the floor for Notre Dame. Here's Corey Fisher back in. 1:19 to go.
They just keep running good guards at you.
Yeah, I just think of Fisher coming in and he comes up with this loose one.
Looks a lot like Kyle Lowry out there.
I think he does. Oh boy, if he ever has the career that he played. Imagine Lowry at 6, 7, or 8. I mean, he just beat a killer. This kid's, he really knows how to run a team. I'm big on him.
You guys remember Kyle Lowry was the hero the last time Villanova won in this building back in 2006 with a late tip-in to give Villanova a 2-point win. Back in those days, they played a 4-guard lineup. Jay Wright told us last year with a couple of outstanding recruits coming in. They might go back to the 4-guard look. Peoples missed a 3.
And 1. Oh, he's out of bounds.
Yeah. Ayers was out of bounds.
Well, the disappointment for Mike, no question about it. Loves these kids, and just that unsettling run of games. Gets in a little bit of a hole.
I'll tell you what, an impressive performance by Villanova. They came in with the intent of shutting down Kyle McElharney, and they did it. McElharney couldn't get a clean look after the first bucket of the game.
Julian, a great game plan. Very well prepared, just taking the plaudits on the sideline of his kids and his coaches.
And I know we've talked about a lot of the individual awards in the Big East. Probably be decided by how the rest of this regular season goes, because the races for those awards seem to be so even. But to me, the leading candidate to be the coach of the year in this league is Jay Wright.
I wouldn't disagree with that. He's done a magnificent job with his team.
I just hope they don't give him suits for the award.
Jason Kalenda in off the bench for Villanova.
That's the greatest feeling in the world. When you've won one, a big one like that, you can.
How would you know?
Put your arm through it. Well,
he's heard.
Vicariously, I've enjoyed it watching other coaches.
I'm so glad. 4.4 to
right
go.
to the heart.
Big Monday. We got one last jab there. Hopefully the judge will credit the points. Mike Bray, great admiration for Jay Wright. They've known each other a long time. Used to coach against each other in America East.